Restaurant Radio.
And broadcasting live on great affiliates all around the country. Restaurant Radio, Dane Neal, Hannah Stanley, and Flavor HD on with Bob Dolgan. He is the director of the Chicago Food Depository.
The Greater Chicago Food Depository. It's not just the city. It actually encompasses, Bob, most of Cook County.
We serve all of Cook County, Illinois. That's right.
So, Bob, welcome to the show. And first off, hats off to you for doing some great work. And let's find out a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, the Greater Chicago Food Depository is Chicago's food bank. We have a network of 650 pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters all throughout the Chicago area that take our food, distribute food from the food depository. 69 million pounds of food last year, to give you an idea. That's a massive figure, but really speaks to the need out there. So the Food Depository is a nonprofit organization, a food bank that brings in food, and we distribute it to these 650 locations all across the Chicago community.
And Bob, just to have you clarify, people can't actually go and get food from the depository.
We don't directly serve food to the public. The Food Depository, we have a large facility on the southwest side of Chicago, and we bring in food and we distribute it out, but we do not directly serve the public. We serve the pantries and soup kitchens.
Well, it's one of the things. There is a little bit of education that you have to do. Anyway, number one, just to get some of the food donations, let people know that you exist. But is there a kind of a misconception? I know that there's charities out there that do work raising awareness about needs and hunger needs related to the United States and communities and things like that. But is it one of those things where when you mention what you do, people say, I didn't know we had that kind of problem here in America?
Exactly. People really don't know the scale of the problem. Here in the Chicago area, 1 in 6 people are food insecure. So 1 out of every 6 people you see on the street might not know where their next meal is coming from. So it is surprising, and it often is affecting people in communities that you wouldn't expect. Middle class, even upper class communities do see a great deal of need. And it's in every community in the United States.
So these are not people who are necessarily destitute. They're not homeless. These are people who have jobs. They're just not able to bridge that gap.
The majority of the people we serve by far are not homeless, and almost more than a third are working. So it's surprising who actually needs food to help get by. It's not always who you'd think. Especially in these times with unemployment close to 9-10%, you're seeing a lot of people who never thought they would be in this position before turning to a pantry for help.
So how has, with the economy of the past several years, how has that affected the need that you guys have to provide?
It has affected it greatly. So we've seen an increase of about 58% in the number of people served in the past 3 years.
An increase of 58%?
Yes, 58% more people turning to pantries for help in the past 3 years. And we set another unfortunate record in November of 2011. We served more than 500,000 people that month. And so we know we're not out of the woods yet, and that there is a great deal of need in our community, and that's stressed every layer of what we do. Thankfully, though, Chicagoans have really stepped up, and we've been able to keep the food flowing out, but it's a great challenge every day.
So the need in our community has gone up 58%. Is that consistent for the country, or is that just here?
It's close to that. I mean, I don't know the exact figures for the whole country, but I know that when I talk to our food bank partners in other communities, it's the same story. More people in need. Food is more scarce. Food is more expensive to acquire and get to people. It's true across the board.
And as you mentioned, the need has increased tremendously, even over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, to the point where you guys even set an unfortunate record in November of helping so many people. Great that you guys were there to do it, but unfortunate that the need was so high. This is a hidden issue in so many of our communities. 1 in 6 people on average is food insecure.
Yeah, we it's a bit of jargon there, but food insecure. It really means people not knowing where they'll receive their next meal or when they'll receive another meal. So it really means uncertainty. And there's a survey that's done, and what we found is that 1 in 6 people in our community in the Chicago area don't know where their next meal is coming from.
One of the good things is there's people out there and organizations to help give them those answers, direction, and a little more security, at least mentally, and then also nutritionally. Bob Duggan, the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Thanks so much for being on Flavor HD.
Restaurant Radio.